Scientists have found out that when you don't understand something, the reward center of your brain reacts as if you're starving. Did you know that? Your brain hates not knowing why certain things are happening. So much so that it actually treats uncertainty like a physical threat. It would rather hear a painful truth or even make up a fake story just to have an answer. Because to your brain, confusion feels like actual danger. Think about it. We are physically built to prefer painful explanation over no explanation at all. That's how we are all living. Nobody in this world wants to live as they are. They want an explanation. They want the universe to come and tell them that this is the reason why are you living. So why do human beings need to understand everything? What is there that we desperately seek for understanding? Think about it. The moment something painful happens, the first question is never what now? It is always why? Why did this happen to me? Why did they leave me? Or why did I fail? Why am I suffering? Or why am I even alive? And things like that. There is a saying, God, if you exist, please explain yourself or kill myself. So it is like that. You see, we seek for explanation as if discovering an explanation could somehow reduce the burden of our existence. For me, this obsession is one of the strangest features of human being actually. We do not merely experience life, we interrogate it. And perhaps that is our greatest burden. Because the universe has never once came to us and told us that it will tell us why we are all existing. And let me tell you something. You are the self-aware reality which is the origin of all origins. It is on you that the entire drama of creation is happening. So don't be a pathetic creature following some spirituality and doing some meditation, thinking that you will attain liberation. That is very narrow-minded. That is like a wave saying, if I follow these methods, I will become ocean. You are that self-aware reality from which the ocean gets its water from. You are like a queen or the king who has forgotten that they are queen and king and begging for a few coins of spirituality that is fallen on the road. Don't be a child. See that you are the substratum and be free and be done with this game. You see, a child asks why the sky is blue. An adult asks why the love disappears. And a philosopher asks why anything exists at all. So different questions, but the hunger is same. That they want to understand something constantly. But have you ever wondered why understanding has become such an addiction? What exactly changes after an explanation? If I explain why someone betrayed me, does the betrayal disappear? If I understand the biology of grief, do I stop grieving? If science explains how stars are born, does that explain why am I here watching them? No. Understanding often changes nothing except the illusion that something has been solved. But who is solving or who is having illusion? Nobody wants to see that. People are busy debating about observer being the observed, but people are not busy seeing on what all these things are happening. Everything is done by the self-aware reality, and you are that, whether you like it or not, or believe it or not, or debate with me or not, or you want to become that or not. And this is the truth. We are all being pathetic creatures searching for liberation, but not understanding that we are already liberated from the day one. The one who has confusion or the one who seeks for liberation is an appearance. I give this example of bluishness on the ocean water. The blueness appears to exist, but the moment you go and put your hand inside and lift the water, you see the water is transparent. And that's how it is. The person who's undergoing karma, or the person who's following a guru, falling at the feet, visiting ashrams and fooling people, the person appears to exist. It does not actually exist. And human beings confuse explanation with resolution. Those are not the same thing. A doctor may explain every stage of a terminal illness, but the patient will still die. An economist may explain why poverty exists, but people still starve. Or a psychologist may explain childhood trauma, but the wounds and the scars still remain. Knowledge has always been mistaken for liberation, actually. In my eyes, it rarely in that case. Often it merely gives suffering better vocabulary. That's it. There are people who name their suffering and then think they are better than everyone else. There are two kinds of people. One, people who can name what emotions they are going through, and there are people who cannot name it. And that's all the only differences. But you are neither the person who names it nor the person who does not name it. You are the self-aware reality. You are the unblemished, utterly, purely, ridiculously, absurdly the self-aware reality from which the ocean gets its water from which the sun gets its light from. I might sound poetic, but this is the truth. Look closely at every conversation too. People are desperate for reasons. Some lose relationship and people want to know what happened. Some lose money and people ask why. Some die unexpectedly and people are like, there must be a reason. God is unhappy with that person. Karma is real and things like that. Or is it that simply what the mind demands because randomness is unbearable? Perhaps the greatest insult to human ego is not suffering. It is meaningless suffering. That is what people cannot tolerate. Pain is difficult, but pain without explanation is unbearable. So the mind begins manufacturing stories. Everything happens for a reason. It was meant to be. It made me stronger. It is a part of bigger plan, and God is watching me, and things like that. And if you observe deeply, these are not discoveries. They are emotional bandages actually. You see, you don't discover that you had a greater purpose. You only take a bandage and put onto your past wounds and think you have overcome them. You are only fooling yourself. We are all pathetic creatures desperately searching for liberations but not understanding that we are already liberated from the day one. The one who seeks liberation is a narrow-minded stuff. It is an appearance. It does not exist. You are the self-aware reality whether you like it or not, and see this and be free. Don't be pathetic creatures by following a method, by following spirituality or visiting ashrams. It is like a wave visiting and another wave in order to become ocean. That is the most stupidest thing that wave can do in its entire life. People ask me, Aswin, give me some method to know the truth. To me it is like, how can I give a method to a fire to produce heat? How can I give method to a light to illuminate the objects? How can I give a method for a woman to become a woman? Let us all not be narrow-minded. See that you are the self-aware reality and be done with this game of life. You see, for me, the need to understand is not about truth. It is about comfort. Because understanding creates the feeling of control. If I know why something happened, perhaps I can prevent it next time. Perhaps life becomes predictable. Perhaps uncertainty becomes manageable and things like that. But does it? Look around. History is filled with civilization that understood more than the ones before them. Yet wars continue, greed continues, loneliness continue, death continues, stupidness continue, narrow-minded people continue. Every people who saw the truth said, turn your mind within. But look at us. We want to follow someone. We want to visit ashrams. We want to follow at the feet of someone else. We want to travel to different parts of India seeking liberation. On the other day, a person asked me a question. He was saying that he wants to spend time around with me and he thought that he will be liberated if he stays around me. That is the most narrow-minded thing. You know why? It is like in a dream, if you spend time with Jesus, do you think you are liberated? And I asked this question to him and he said yes. And I was like, dude, you have taken all these things wrong. Waking up from the dream is liberation, not spending time with Jesus or God or anyone. In the dream, you might practice meditation, you might spend time with all the gods and goddesses that ever walked the earth, but you're still dreaming. See that you are the self-aware reality and be done with this drama actually. You are the absolute, unblemished, utterly, purely the self-aware reality. You see, human knowledge expands, I agree, but human confusion also expands with it. So, be done with this drama by turning your mind within and understand that you are the self-aware reality. Ultimately, I will conclude my speech by saying that follow the message, not the messenger. I am doing all this social media just to make a living and for the joy of speaking alone. You are the self-aware reality which is the substratum of all, whether you like it or not or believe it or not. Thank you.